All right, what's up, y'all? So we're gonna come back with another hit with me, and this hit with me is gonna be focused on direction. And so when I mean direction, I'm kind of like focused on what part of the field we're hitting at. And so for me in particular, I like to spin out with my lower half. And so I really wanted to focus on direction here and try to stay like I'm driving the ball to right center. And when I say driving, I'm not manipulating the barrel and throwing my hands to try to hit it to right center. I want my body behind it and working on driving the ball to right center. And so today we're gonna go over 4 drills. We're gonna do lunge swings, we're gonna do open 45s, we're gonna do double farm boards, and then we're gonna do trout step overs. And those are the 4 drills we're gonna go through. All from front toss today. We're gonna go through about 5 to 10 swings of each, kind of talk through what I'm feeling, what I'm trying to work on. And then yeah, so kick back and come hit with us. Yeah, so with these lunge swings, we're in this staggered position here, really working on stopping my hips, right? And so when I'm not in this lunge position, I tend to want to spin out and come this direction with my hips. And so getting this lunge position really helps me stop my hips, which helps me maintain my direction through the middle part of the field, right center here. And so really want to focus on still loading my hips and everything back just like my normal swing, but because of the position I'm in with my lower half, it's helping my direction and maintain that through the middle part of the field. A couple more here. Oh, tough one there, Hubs. Give me a little insider. One more. Cool. All right, so next we're gonna go to open 45s. And so the whole purpose of the open 45s here is to really challenge my direction. So now I'm gonna start with my hips opened up like this. And so 45-degree angle. So instead of facing towards the pitcher in neutral stance, I'm gonna be opened up at a 45-degree angle here. And the whole goal of this is to really get into my rear hip back here and really challenge staying through, trying to drive this ball to center field, right center here, maintaining that direction and not letting myself want to spin out and come out with my hips here. So this one should be a little more challenging for me than the lunge swings, but it's really challenging the direction, kind of like feeding the mistake, trying to make it more difficult here for me to maintain that direction. Good, and as you notice, some of them I'm stepping over with my front foot. I'm not really trying to. I'm just really focused on trying to stay in that back hip as long as I can. Really emphasizing this back hip and the weight that I'm putting in this back hip and being plugged in with my back foot because I tend to want to push forward and spin forward. And so you'll see in my regular swing where you'll see me finish over my front side like this rather than keeping my weight back. And that hurts my direction at times because now I'm over rotating with my upper half. And so you'll see me kind of step forward with my front foot. I'm not trying to right now, just really emphasizing staying plugged in with that back side and trying not to spin out through my front side and roll over that front foot. Couple more. Got a ball coming. Try not to hit the IR. The 15-day. Oh, there's the hook me. Now that was one right there where I felt myself, when I went to rotate, I felt myself stand up and really get into that front hip early. And so instead of staying on this backside, letting it travel and driving it from my back hip here, I stood up, got really extended with my back hip, came out of the ground. and I got heavy in my front side, which I'm sure is something that you guys have heard is, you know, landing soft on the front side, or try not to slam down, try not to land in the lunge. And so if I was striding, that would have been me lunging onto my front side there. I pushed up and got heavy on my front side there, and that's what led to me losing some direction and having to come out and around that ball, which is why I got that snapped hook, that top spin down and to the left towards the shortstop. Couple more. Oh. Nice. All right, so now we're gonna go double farm boards. And so the first couple drills, we've changed up the angles and the stance that we're standing at. And so we went really closed off this lunge swing position, and then we went with the open 45. So now we're gonna get back to more of a neutral position and really focus on, I'm gonna take these farm boards, and what they do is they take the stability of the ground away here, but with that too, it also helps my hips stop, and then it gives me feedback. So if I do what I did on the open 45s, where I stood up, this backboard's gonna kick back behind me like this, and it's gonna slide out. And so it's gonna give me a lot of feedback. So if I try to push like this, that's the very first move for me losing my direction. And so I tend to push, and that's when I tend to lose my direction later in my swing. So it all starts with how I'm trying to create force. And so we're gonna go double farm boards here to give a ton of feedback. And so if I go to push out of this back one, you know, I know I'm gonna lose some direction. And then also too with this front board, if I spin out like I like to do sometimes with my lower half, you're gonna see the board do this, which we don't want. And so with these boards, I wanna see it be more of a reciprocal move where they go back and forth like that. And this is really good for hitters that, you know, struggle pushing or losing their direction with their lower half here. Yeah, and these farm boards are pretty tough. I haven't hit on them for a little while. They challenge a lot of pelvic stability too. And so when using these farm boards, taking some time to take a rest, step off, they really force you to engage a lot of different muscles in your pelvis region, your adductors, your abductors, glutes, all that type of stuff. And so they can get kind of tiring, you know, if you just keep taking swings off of them. So I highly recommend taking some breaks every once in a while when hitting on the boards. Giving your legs some time to recover. A little upper half over rotation. Yeah. See, on that one, that was one where I pushed a little bit out of that backside, and I got this backward toward the catcher move with the farm board, and I felt really heavy on that front hip. And that's where all my direction wanted to go out to left field. And I tried to throw my hands through to maintain that direction to center field, right center, but I'm not driving it. Like I said, the whole purpose of this is try to keep your direction to drive that ball to right center and not just manipulate it and slap a line drive over that way. Got it. A couple more. Oh. Spinny McSpinnerson there. All my direction went foul. Better. A little push with the lower half, backside. Try to get one more. Move more reciprocal. Maintain that direction throughout the swing. Better. All right, cool. So we're gonna kick these boards out, and we're gonna do a new drill. We're gonna do a new drill called the trout step overs. And so with these, I'm just gonna go from launch today, really working from launch, feeling the ground a lot today, and a lot of stability with my lower half. And so these are called trout step overs. So I'm gonna start in the launch position. And all the trout step overs is, so when you see Mike Trout hit a home run, a lot of times you'll see him step over the plate with his front foot afterwards. And so what this is ultimately it's his pelvis is decelling or stopping really well, which is sending energy up his body. But we use it as a drill also too. One, to stop the hips, but for me, like the focus is direction today. And so if I'm thinking about stepping over with my front foot, it really helps me from spinning out with my lower half and losing direction. And so we're gonna end on the Mike Trout step overs with the front foot. And so you're gonna hit it from launch, boom, and then step over, kind of like you're pimping a home run. Get a little bit stronger, that might be the one. Tried to get me with the lob ball. See, that was a little early with the trout step over. I want to try to finish, anchor it into the ground, and step over a little bit later. And something you'll notice with these trout step overs too is when you're doing them well, your barrel may be getting delivered out front a little bit quicker. And so because you're stopping your hips and you're maintaining that direction, your barrel is actually getting out a little bit quicker. And so it may change your timing a little bit. And so like that one in particular wasn't too bad of a move, but I felt myself catch it way far out front, and just my timing's changing when I tend to do it a little bit differently, do it better, and my hips stop and I maintain that direction and all the energy gets sent up my body. Couple more. The live balls get me. I want to jump. Yep, and so also too, not forgetting what we did building up to this point. And so did the open 45s, and so something I'm gonna try to incorporate in this swing is feeling like I'm in my back hip and I'm swinging from that back hip when I initiate my rotation. And so instead of, and again with the farm boards too, if my first move's up with my hip, I tend to lose a lot of direction. And so feeling like I'm on the open 45 drill into my back hip and just swinging from there, and then afterwards stepping over is kind of what my thought is here, the cue I'm gonna give myself to try to keep me from jumping forward at some of these pitches. A little bit better. I was able to keep that one up the middle with that thought. Came out of that back hip a little early. All right, couple more. Kind of pull my hands through that one. I really want to stay back and drive it that direction with my body. Those lob balls. Open 45 feel. And two, another thing as a reminder, getting kind of to the end of the session, taking some swings, changing some different focuses here. So sometimes it's good to kind of step out, give yourself a little mental break, reevaluate what cues are working for you, what cues aren't working for you, kind of get back in and make that adjustment. Just like in game, you have the opportunity to step out. It's the same thing in the cage. Step out, regather, reset, try a different cue maybe, and go make that adjustment. That'll be it. So yeah, today's session was all focused on direction, trying to maintain that direction through the big part of the field, left center to right center. For hitters that tend to spin out or push out and they blow their shoulder, they tend to lose direction pretty early in their swing because how they try to create force. And so there's a mixture of things with like the lunge swing, really hard to push out of the backside in that position. And then the open 45s really challenge you because if you do push out and lose that direction early, you're going to cut the ball and slice it. You're feeding the mistake there. Double boards gives you a ton of feedback. You'll start slipping and sliding everywhere if you try to push out of the backside. You'll spin out with the front side. It's going to be really hard to be stable. And then the last one, the trout step overs. Those are really challenging too for hitters that like to spin out. And so there's different variations that we do than the trout step overs, which we can throw in some other sessions here. But other than that, thank y'all for hitting along, and peace out.